If you run a physiotherapy clinic, you've probably heard the term SEO, but you might not actually understand what SEO is all about, how you actually go about improving your SEO, and why all of this matters. So let's answer these types of questions here. First, what is SEO? So essentially, it's all about how you rank in Google. SEO stands for search engine optimization. So Google, Bing, and other search engines, really, it's just all about optimizing how your website shows up in Google. Now, there are two kind of distinct types of SEO that are really relevant for a physiotherapy clinic. That is local SEO and organic search. So local SEO is all about kind of showing up in the maps, where you show up in that Google map pack, and is really guided by your Google business listing. Whereas organic search is more about where your website shows up in that list of organic results. So now let's talk about why SEO matters for physio, chiro, and other healthcare clinics. The reality is people are searching for your services. Every day people are out there looking for physiotherapy near me, back pain physio, chiropractor for sciatica, any number of relevant searches. People are searching for your services, what you offer. And if you don't show up on that first page, and even more so, if you don't show up in that top 3 results, you're going to have a much more difficult time actually getting any of those people that are searching to find your site and click on your site and become a new patient. And so the clinics that dominate their local SEO, dominate the organic search, these clinics are making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a year in revenue from the patients that find them organically. So there is a massive opportunity. And if this is something you haven't been actively working on, or if maybe overlooked a little bit, that's fine. Tons of clinics do this, but there's a real opportunity for you to improve and see some massive results from your efforts. So how do you actually go about improving your SEO? How do you optimize your website? Well, before we get to your website, there are things you're going to want to do ahead of time that are going to help you along this process. So the first one I want to talk about is your Google business profile. If you don't have a Google business profile, go out and create one. It's super easy to do. It will take you just a couple of minutes to actually create the listing. But once you have the listing, you're not done there. So to optimize your profile, you first want to fill out all of the relevant details. You want to have your name, your hours, your website linked. You want to highlight your services, add your categories. Fill out all of the relevant details that you can. The more complete your Google business profile is, the better it's going to show up. But then you're also going to want to add photos and a logo and do some Google business posts and regularly be updating your profile, always making sure that it's up to date and accurate. This type of ongoing improvement and update to your Google business profile is going to signal to Google that, hey, we're up to date, we're relevant, and it's going to help boost your visibility. So make sure once you have created your profile that you're updating it, keeping it up to date, regularly publishing posts. You're also going to want to be generating patient reviews. And so the easiest way to do this is to simply ask patients, hey, we just finished your treatment or your treatment plan. Would you mind leaving us a review? But you can also automate this with things like email marketing, where when you discharge a patient from their chiro treatment or their massage therapy treatment or whatever, then you send them an email and say, hey, how was your experience? Did you have a good experience with us? And then you let them rate you 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If they give you a 5, then you say, that's fantastic. We're so glad to hear that. Would you mind leaving us a Google review? It really helps people out that are in a similar situation, and we would really appreciate it. If they gave you a 1, 2, or 3, well, don't ask them to leave you a review, but instead send a note to your front desk team or just to yourself and make a note to follow up with these people and say, hey, I saw you gave us a 2 out of 5. Just wanted to give you a shout. Figure out what went wrong. Was it something about the experience, the booking, the treatment? And this is just going to be a good learning opportunity. And by having this sort of intermediary email where you ask them to rate your experience before asking for a review, you're going to help make sure you're only getting really high quality positive reviews. If they give you a 4 out of 5, you can either just chalk that up to, it went okay, it went fairly well, but there's some room to improve. You might not need to actually call this patient, but you might not also want them to leave you a 4-star review because that will kind of bring down your average, and you really want to be a 5 or a 4.9, 4.8 average on your Google reviews. But you want to start generating as many of these patient reviews as you can. I want to encourage you to aim for about a 10% conversion rate on getting patients to leave a review. So if you have 100 patients, you should be getting at least about 10 Google reviews from these patients. So now that you've got your business listing all set up, you're starting to generate some reviews. The next step is to do some keyword research. Now, there are a ton of paid and free tools that can help you with this. SEMrush, SEMrush, SE ranking. You can even use Google's keyword planner. There's all kinds of tools out there that can help you with keyword research. But essentially, you're trying to figure out what are the search terms that people are looking for. Now, for the most part, it's going to be things like physiotherapy in your city, physiotherapy in Vancouver, physiotherapy in Toronto. Similar for your other services, chiropractor in Vancouver, chiropractor in Toronto, clinical counseling in Vancouver, clinical counseling in Toronto. These types of searches. You're also going to have more localized searches. So this is chiro near me, RMT nearby. You're also going to have treatment searches. So back pain physio, back pain chiropractor, sciatica relief, any number of searches. But by doing the keyword research, you're going to start to uncover the types of search terms that people are looking for. And so you're going to look for high volume search terms, but also ones that are reasonably easy to rank for. So you can look for the competition score and kind of trying to prioritize the lower competition keywords. But nonetheless, start doing some keyword research to really understand what are your biggest SEO opportunities. What are the opportunities you need to be going out and trying to rank for? Once you understand the types of keywords you should be trying to rank for, then you need to go to your website and start creating pages on your website or optimizing your existing pages for those particular search terms. Now, one thing I want to highlight here is that it's not about your whole website having all of these search terms. You want individual pages to be targeting individual keywords. Now, there might be some overlap there, physio Toronto and physio in Toronto and physio clinic in Toronto. I mean, that's all probably going to be one page, but you don't want to be trying to rank simultaneously for physio, chiro, counseling, RMT, dental. You don't want to be trying to rank for all of these things on just one page. You want to have specific pages for specific keywords or keyword groups. So one way you can do this is by creating service pages. So whatever services your clinic offers, have a page dedicated to talking about that particular service, your approach, your teammates, reviews from patients that talk about, oh, I went to see this clinic for physio and they really helped me out with my back pain, blah, 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 blah. You can have FAQs, you can have relevant blog content, you can have all kinds of content, but make it specific to that particular service and then create one of these pages for each one of your services. You can also try creating location pages. So now this is especially relevant for multi-location clinics, but if you serve multiple different cities or regions or areas or neighborhoods, then you can consider creating a page for each one of those places. So we've got physio in Mississauga, physio in Oakville, physio in Toronto, physio in X, Y, and Z. And so then you can talk about that particular clinic location or that particular neighborhood that you serve. Maybe you add some driving directions and some parking information and other content that's relevant to that particular neighborhood or that particular area. And so this is going to help you rank for more searches across different areas and different people searching for your service in their neighborhood. This is a really important strategy that I think a lot of clinics either miss or don't put enough energy into. Maybe you have some service pages, but you just kind of created them as a bit of an afterthought or because you saw someone else had it, but you haven't really taken the time to optimize the page. Incorporate those keywords you did in your keyword research into your titles, into your headings, into the content of the page. And so I want to encourage you to consider creating some location pages or some service pages. You can also start creating blog content. Now, some people think blog content is a little bit of an outdated strategy, but it still is a very relevant and useful tactic for you to use to help boost your SEO. Now, there are a couple of reasons for this, but essentially, you want to start creating some blog content around relevant topics that will help you build authority and build traffic to your website, but you can also use it to build internal links. So that's links from within your website to other pages on your website, which is all going to help signal to Google that not only are you a trustworthy and authoritative source, but it's also going to help the crawlers find the key pages on your website. So start creating some blog content. You can pick different topics that are relevant to you. You can be, broader topics might be a little bit more challenging to rank for. So what is physiotherapy? I mean, this is something that's been written on quite extensively. Or you can try and really niche down and pick keywords and topics that might not have as much search volume, but are actually going to be easier for you to rank for. So maybe this is shockwave treatment for bursitis, things like this, where we're just getting very niche into what type of topic we're actually writing about. But still, nonetheless, it's going to be a valuable thing for you to do to start building up the content to your site, building more authority, building more traffic, creating more internal links. And so this is something that I really want to encourage you. If you used to create blog content or it's something you've never really found the time to do, it's a really valuable thing for you to create a monthly blog post, maybe 1 or 2 a month if you can manage it. Even more content than that would be great, but I find at least 1 to 2 per month is a pretty good and achievable cadence for most clinics. Another fairly simple strategy you can use to help build up your SEO is by getting listed on local directories and building out your local citations. So there are a ton of directories and local citation websites out there. There's the big ones like Yelp and Yellow Pages, but there are also going to be niche ones like maybe you have businesses just in your city and there's a directory website for that, or businesses just of a particular type. They're just physiotherapy clinics or just clinical counseling clinics. So look for some of the most relevant and high quality directories that you can list your website on. And so when you find these sites, essentially you're going to want to create a profile, include your business name, your description, a link to your website. That's very important to have that link to your website, and then fill out any other relevant details. This can be a little bit of a tedious exercise, but it doesn't take that long, and it's really going to help boost up your rankings, because all of these different citations around the internet signal to Google that, this business, they are who they say they are, they're located where they say they're located, and it's just more evidence to Google's crawlers that you're a legitimate business and all of your details are accurate. So make sure you use a consistent address, a consistent phone number, a consistent business name across all of these listings, because if you start mixing things up and changing the formatting, it's just going to make that evidence to the search crawlers a little bit less compelling. So using a consistent, they call it NAP, name, address, phone number. Being consistent across all of your NAP and all of your local listings is a fairly simple, just spend a few minutes, a day for a little while, finding out these directories and adding your listing to it. So that is essentially an intro's guide to SEO for healthcare businesses, for physiotherapy clinics, chiro clinics, and similar. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. I'll be sure to get back to you and give you as great of an answer as I can. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and thanks so much.